Welcome back to the show. This is KDS Reviews. This is a special Christmas Eve episode. There's been a lot of Christmas movies like White Christmas, and so forth that are really popular. But to me, this is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. It even ranked number 11 on the film history as the 11th greatest movie of all time. That's 1946's It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. Now, Jimmy Stewart wasn't even the original pick to play George Bailey. They'd even tried to get Vincent Price. I know, Vincent Price of all people. That would have been crazy. It tells the story of George Bailey, who just goes about his life, not realizing that his life is making a difference to other people. You know, he misses a lot of opportunities early in his life that he could have left. His brother became a millionaire, tried to get him to invest in this plastic thing, and his brother became filthy rich. He tried to leave the day of his wedding, but there was a run on the bank, so he had to come back and stay because he really did not want to stay and run that Bailey Savings and Loans. He wanted to get out of there. He had plans. You're going to see how that's going to come back if you're a young viewer. So he starts off running this bank. He has a pretty good life here going on. And then his Uncle Billy has a deposit, supposed to be making a deposit of $8,000. Somehow he misplaces it, and Old Man Potter gets his hand on it. Now, old Man Potter had been trying to buy the bank. He'd been trying to buy George Bailey to come work for him. But Bailey was like, no, you just want me to own, you just want to become one money on your properties, and own this bank and run this town. And he insulted him, called him all these names. And you're going to see how that's going to come back to bite George Bailey in the rear end. So he's trying to find the money now. Uncle Billy now is having a fear and calls George, and George is like trying to get him to retrace his steps. And now this is a part I really like. This shows the intensity of this movie, the intensity of Jimmy Stewart's acting range. Most of the time you see him playing a good guy and everything, he gets enraged, calls him an old fool. I mean, he just explodes. This is a really intense scene to me in this whole movie. So now everything starts to go down because $8,000 is missing. That's bank fraud. He could go to jail. He even crawls and goes back to Old Man Potter, wanting to get a loan from him. And Potter just laughs at him in his face and says, no, wait a minute, you're more dead than alive. That's bank fraud. You can go to jail. And Potter gets ready to call the police on him. And, he flies out of the room. He goes back home. He still is scared as all get out. He tears his own house up, yells and screams at his children and his wife. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, this is really a good movie if you haven't seen it. Comes to this bridge, he starts contemplating suicide, starts realizing that the walls are closing in on him. What does he need to do? He even prays to God about it. He gets ready to jump in the river and kill himself. But then his guardian angel, Clarence, comes along and jumps in the river instead. He fishes Clarence's out. He thinks he's having a dream or a bad nightmare. And Clarence tries to tell him that he's his guardian angel and that this is just money, and his life is worth more than money. And finally, George says, it'd been better off if I'd never been born. So Clarence says, okay, you snap your finger, you've never been born. Then that scene, everything turns dark. He thinks, well, what are you talking about? Then he realizes all the things that would have happened had he never been born. Now, I think this is a very important part of this movie. It shows that every man's life makes a difference. If you think you're not important, you think you're invisible, believe me, you're making an influence on somebody's life that you don't even know, which is beyond this movie. That really makes you think you are somebody. You may think you're nobody, but you are somebody. It just goes to show, his wife, for one thing, she becomes a spinster because she doesn't know who George Bailey is. So her whole life changed. His brother is dead because at the beginning of the movie, he saved his brother from falling in a block of ice. So now his brother is dead. And the whole town now is called Pottersville because there was no George Bailey to keep Potter from buying the whole city out. He sees just how bad this place is. He just can't believe that his one life did this. He couldn't believe it. He just surprised to Clarence about it. And Clarence just explained to him, see, you think you didn't matter, but you did matter, George. So it was a series of circumstances. He wakes back up again. He's still at the foot of the bridge. He's like, wow, what? And he realizes now, and nothing has changed. He's still, the $8,000, still gone, But he's just glad to be alive. But what he doesn't realize that his wife, Donna Reed, has been getting money from everyone in the town, including his brother, who wrote him out this big check, and it's getting more than $8,000 to cover the missing money, Now, there is one thing in the movie here that I bet you didn't really even think about. I didn't even think about it till 3 or 4 times after I had seen it. The angel gets his wings every time the bell rings. This is all a great ending here. It'll bring a tear to your eye. But guess what? Old man Potter still got the $8,000. This is KDS Reviews. This is my review of It's a Wonderful Life, a motion picture that I consider one of the greatest movies of all time and the #1 Christmas movie of all time. This is KDS Reviews. I remember KDS Reviews is seen every Wednesday and every Sunday. If you like this type of content, then like, subscribe, and share. And you want to see me rank some other Christmas movies and programs, then watch this video right here. KDS Reviews is seen every Wednesday and Sunday, and I'll see you in the next video.